Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Oleg Kivakurtsev. I'm the CBDO of Promobot, and we are happy to greet you at the first Promobot International Roundtable. While we're waiting for our guests, let us introduce ourselves. We are a Promobot company. We are a manufacturer of robotics. Our robots are working in 43 countries. We're building robots and do research in the field of robotics and artificial intelligence. While we are waiting for our guests, please, could you please type a plus in the comments? We have our stream is working in 2 languages, and we need to say thanks to our English voice Dan Shavering, that's me, and to the colleagues who did the speech with attention to the translation. Before we continue, please let me inform you about the following. Humanoid project collection of applications is finished. We are not going to speak about it today. There will be no applications. Dear friends, everyone who didn't have time to submit an application, please no worries, we'll have more projects in the future. Subscribe to our Instagram and stay tuned. Also, please send your questions to pirt@promo-bot.ru, and at the end of our event, our moderators will choose the most interesting questions and we'll answer them. So, great. And now let me introduce Alexey Yuzhakov, founder and chairman of Promobot company. Alexey Yuzhakov, he'll give us a word. Alexey, hello.
Good afternoon, dear friends. I'm glad to welcome you here today at our virtual roundtable, organized for the first time. We are happy to see all partners, distributors, maybe just colleagues, people, companies who are not indifferent to our partnership. Today we have gathered you at this event because, as it seems to us, we have something to say. Even much than anything, we want to listen to you, to hear your feedback about existing experience of cooperating with us. And on the other hand, what's hindering now in the moment? Maybe you have something to tell us, or you would like to do from our party to change something in the future. I'm sure that you have something to voice, and will have something to be fixed. The purpose of this event, on the one hand, is to convey our company's strategic vision, and on the other hand, to restart the mechanism of relations and interaction with our partners. I'll be glad if such events will be held on a systematic basis. For one thing, we want to share our best practices, both in the field of robotics and in general understanding of the market, how to move, and on the other respect, we want to collect feedback from you. The second thesis. We know many of you personally. I have visited many people in countries, locations, regions. You have always explained yourself that Alexey or Oleg were approached. Let's get us together as partners. We have something to share. It will be useful. We didn't get around to it in any way, and now upon the arrival of Roman Ivanov, we succeeded in it, and he'll have his chance to talk today. Therefore, it seems to me that this opportunity can and should be used today. The third thing is already in general about robotics and where the Promobot is now. On the one hand, people will talk today seriously and a lot about. And on the other hand, friends, let's see, we all realize what's happening in the world. Now that it is the year of science and innovation and technology in Russia, artificial intelligence is already well-known fact everywhere. The next milestone, we are almost sure that sooner or later they will say in the plain text that the future belongs to robots. No one is able to keep it from people that this is a big business opportunity, still having its huge potential, and all its growth points have not been disclosed in full. The International Robotics Association, as you know, puts the growth of service robotics manifold higher than industrial ones. And in this part, we, the Promobot company, have had our own developments for 7 years, have raised excellent, competent performers. I'll tell you about this even further. We are already leaders in the field of service robotics. We have every reason to start shaping the global agenda related to service robotics. My fellow workers will also talk about such approaches, about such a vision, and what products will go there with. You know, I always announce this thesis that the Promobot is primarily a company that has not only sold 700 robots around the world. The Promobot is a partnership that has sold 700 robots and has 700 feedback from each client about what is good in a robot, what is not, how to automate, to robotize this or that process within absolutely different market segments. I think you will agree with me in many ways. For 7 years, different companies, someone went bankrupt, someone left the market, someone closed the company, and we still exist and are represented in this field and are not represented within just one segment. A robot only for supermarkets, a robot only for airports. We really managed to create a kind of platform solving very narrow tasks in certain spheres. It can be an airport, a bank, a multifunctional center, and entertainment. You know all these cases perfectly well. So when we take feedback from you, this is the most precious thing we have. We know examples that are most likely to become a deal and samples on the contrary and unsuitable for our clients. This is also worth a lot. And of course, all the people who have been implementing these technologies for 7 years can make a much complex product today. We all understand perfectly well that it is not always necessary to make a much complex, expensive product, because there will be nobody to purchase it in the market. For a long time, every time they ask me, "Listen, where's your Promobot? Have you seen Boston Dynamics?" I always say, "Well, just give me $3.5 million and I'll make you a robot within a year and a half. And if I do the same as Boston Dynamics, you'll pay me 10 times per 3.5 million. And if not, I'll return your money back." Dear colleagues, today here at Promobot, we have the smartest people gathered from all over the country who are engaged into dialogue systems, mechatronics, robotics, design, new materials. These creators and I have something to be proud of. And this is the same team able to make the best robots in the world. The next thesis I would like to voice is directions my colleagues will talk about today. I'll tell you only the main points in short. We realized ourselves. I would like you to hear this thesis as our partners, that the point of success for us is a particular product scaling. And you know, a huge number of people willing to create their own robots come to us as hardware creators. Once a week, we definitely receive some kind of application. We have learned to cut off or be much precise. We have introduced a criterion for when this collaboration and interaction will be successful. We called it, today Roman will probably tell about it, a partner story, when a partner itself can act as a first customer. It is an expert in one direction or another. It can finance itself one or two first units or robots willing to be ordered. Such a customer knows exactly what this robot should correspond to, because it is represented within the segment for which it makes this robot with us, knows everything inside and out, and brings a scaling business plan. We have already implemented this several times, so Vertimed appeared with us as a partner, with which we make a simulator robot for higher education establishments, which are purchased systematically as our hyper-realistic hardware for universities. So we have a new partner with which we'll make a social interface for vending now. The so-called new theme with vendings, when we sell emotion and repeat sales basically. In fact, now we are talking about several thousand robots will be purchased starting from the middle of the next year, right in this direction. Moreover, the partner knows exactly what voice the robot should speak and its characteristics without any inflated expectations. We may already talk about this. We are actively promoting a separate direction now. I would like you to have this understanding. The so-called Museum of Madame Tussauds 2.0, when living hyper-realistic figures of famous people communicate with you, interact. Again, we have a partner here and it knows exactly how many people should stay at each stand, what is needed exactly, how to direct, what robots should say at this moment, which faces, which historical figures should be available. We are joining new projects with such partners only, and so far we can say that this is absolutely the right decision. From this point of view, think about it. See if there are partners around you who know exactly what they want within a narrow direction, what they would like to, and which are ready to finance one or two robots possibly, and represent the market for themselves accurately. And how they will promote it, if the robots that we will create will meet these criteria. That's what I wanted to share. But probably in the end I would like to talk at all and explain. There is always good and evil. There are these who are responsible for certain segments and fight for them. Here we associate ourselves with those who are responsible in this world for interacting with people in our infrastructure. We are responsible for robots. Another thing, for example, is a virtual reality, a metaverse. By and large, we will not need robots in this area. We put on virtual reality glasses and we are all fine. We dreamed about something, so we did it in virtual reality. And in general, then robots are not needed. We need a very comfortable chair, so that food is delivered. And maybe a nutrient solution through one's veins. And we will be fine in general. This is a separate direction with its stakeholders, followers, and a religion. I suggest that you take the side of good, maybe to the other extreme. Yes, we will not make a metaverse together. We will develop our real world with you, under the assistance of those aids which will help us to exist in this world, to change it for the better. These are helpers, robots, as many be anthropomorphic, maybe hyper-realistic. These are helpers who will represent us maybe in the future under the transfer of consciousness. It is with the robot assistants we plan that flights into space to other planets will definitely be in demand for primary processing, working out the possibility of life over there. Therefore, we have very far-reaching plans, and we would like to have this round table so that our communication will not be limited to business planning only. Let's share a common vision and opinion on how our company should be developed in general. For our part, we will be glad to receive any positive and contrary feedback from you. Thanks.
So much. It was a really inspiring speech. And now we have something to think about. And now let me introduce the founder of Promobot, CEO of Promobot, Maxim Chugunov. Maxim, please go ahead.
I would like to start my keynote speech with a question. We often hear from our potential customers when we talk about our activities and product we make. The first thing we hear from our experience is, what kind of robot is it? What can it do? what it looks like, what kind of stuff it is. Why do we obtain such things and meet such a misunderstanding? This is due to the fact that the concept of a robot is very capacious in itself. And when we say a robot, everyone imagines different things. It is a Terminator for some persons, or a smart vacuum cleaner. Someone will treat a software robot for trading, for example, on a stock exchange. And as a result, such moments bring us to the situation when they make it difficult to sell and extend a deal cycle. And we decided to do something about it and think about it all. What way did we reflect it? We analyzed the phone market, how they had been and were positioned. I didn't just pronounce a phone, although I actually meant a smartphone. A smartphone or a mini computer which we use all perfectly now. In this device, only 1% of its functionality is directly from the phone, not more. But these devices entered the market and were positioned as phones, because it is so clear and convenient. This stuff has come additional features, and these additional ones for a device are about 99% according to our estimates. We decided to keep the same way and considered to regard the market for existing devices, what is sold now, what is shaped as a certain image, a certain understanding or functionality for its intended purpose. We came across self-service devices and thought that this was really the closest of existing analogs in terms of functionality. Thus, we decided, as hypothesis, no name our service robots an interactive robot terminal or just a robot terminal. As soon as we came to this and fixed this moment, we realized that we had received a scope of advantages at once. The first point is clear and obvious positioning. When we explain a client that a robot is a terminal, we test it on a fairly large sample, everyone immediately has a picture regarding its intended purpose and functionality, and that's first. Further, as regarding advantages, is that we get the absence of inflated expectations as such, because people compare it with a terminal and anything higher, and it will exceed they're looking for. The market of terminals is a very large, growing one. Under our estimates, the global market for self-service devices is reckoned at decades of billions of dollars. It has already competitors, its main key players, and it is clear to compete with, the way to rival, and how to enter this market. All these advantages, I think, they are very important. I would like to start with this, to fix it. In addition to all this, one needs to understand how we'll compete with existing terminals, what rival advantages we provide for. We also supposed in this direction and realized that we give positive emotion. Our robot can evoke them, you know it perfectly well. Each of you has exploited our robot at exhibitions or somewhere else. When it even displays hearts in an elementary way, women really like it, causing delight and positive emotions. And it can be controlled. Naturally, these positive feelings are not for nothing. What are they? They allow you to bind a client and to encourage to repeat visits or to repeat sales when interacting with our robot. This is very important. I wanted to be more precise on this moment. Just imagine there are ice cream sellers, mainly in Turkey. They are in quite a large number, and they sell ice cream on a long stick and show certain tricks when selling. What do they perform? They want to evoke a positive emotion from a buyer. If it succeeds, they bind the buyer, and when the next time such a client wants ice cream, he or she will remember about this seller at least. And if such a seller is in a certain availability, then there will be 100% purchase from him. Our robot can also cause the same emotions and encourage customers to repeat visits and sales. Naturally, as I have already said, it causes positive emotions. I gave an example of hearts, but they are only one element which can get bored quickly. We are currently developing and proceeding from the fact that we must create a whole image which includes a robot appearance, emotions on its face, as well as voice synthesis, which must have feelings and emotions. We have progresses in this direction. Now some digression. You know that synthesis is quite emotionless, monotonous, and it breaks communication. It prevents you from delivering positive impressions, pleasure from communicating with a robot. This is a very important point, and we will solve it soon. We will have an emotional synthesis. It will give out them. Well, of course, in addition to all this, gestures are needed to complete the whole image. Scripts are necessary, movements of its arms, torso, head as well. We are conducting a series of focus surveys with focus group regarding different genders, ages and social statuses, to develop some kind of tool which will work as well as possible in terms of these emotions and desires evoking to reapply to the robot again. And since we are talking about development, I would like to leave here somewhat into technical moments and to explain the technology which the Promobot has adopted within the company. Because elaboration we are implementing now in view of the fact that we are engaged into robotics, there are quite lots of them within different directions. And not to get confused and to understand what we are talking about, we adopted a certain dictionary. I would like to share it with you. The words are as follows. We have what we are designing now. The first thing is a platform. What is it like? In fact, it is a steel frame with a body, plastic and all the hardware, plus boards and cable routes. Promobot C companion and Promobot V, which is now represented in version 4. Further, in addition to the platform, there's a core. The core is a high-level software allowing this base to be moved and to be pre-rated in principle. The next term is a case. A case is also a high-level software allowing the platform to perform a certain business function, such as issuing a pass or consulting at an airport. This is a case. There's a concept of such a product. What is a product? A product is a combination of a platform, a core, and a case. Altogether, it is a product. We currently have about 17 products. They are divided on these two platforms in various combinations. There's also such a thing as a project. A project is a specific product installation and launch for a specific customer when it is necessary to brand its robot, to add some logos, to be integrated with existing specific systems within such a customer. This is a project. In terms of developments, I would like to share our plans and our vision with you. As I have already said, we are now planning to develop two platforms simultaneously for the next 3 years. This is a humanoid-like basis Robo-C and anthropomorphic robot Promobot V platforms. Now it is represented in the 4th version. We plan to launch the 5th type next year. Similarly, for Robot C, next year we'll plan to release the next version, which, in addition to facial expressions, will have its mobile arms and will be able to move its torso and neck. Now I would like to tell you in detail about the products and applications we see based on Promobot V and Promobot C platforms. Let's start with Promobot C. As I already mentioned at the beginning of my speech, we are looking towards self-service devices, self-service terminals, and we consider it to be a large market there. The next thing I would like to explain is Platform C, the humanoid-like robot Promobot C. There we'll see a number of applications of niches also be occupied in the future. We are not represented within now. This is a look into times to come. The first thing I want to start with is again the story of self-servicing and vending. We are monitoring very well and determining the situation now, when the so-called robot cafes are starting to appear all the time. In fact, these are also vending devices occupying an area slightly larger than a classic kiosk, but which has manipulators and prepares freshly brewed coffee for visitors. There are more and more of such coffee shops. Moreover, the market is now developing in such a way that such devices will sell not only coffee, but in principle quite a large number of different products like vending, including ice cream, soda, delicacies or desserts. Let's see what this will lead to, how they will function. In fact, vending points can compete with each other due to the level of service, product quality or price.
Конкуренция, на наш взгляд, возможна за счет либо уровня сервиса, либо качества продукта, либо цены. Ну, если так, высокоуровнево концептуально.
Vending is retail. It can affect a product only by choosing one or another supplier or manufacturer. There are two components left, price and service. If we are talking about vending and the absence of employees, then the service will be uniform for everyone, and there remains competition only regarding prices. But we all understand perfectly well that competition on a cost is a dead end. It is impossible to compete with this. Here, the opportunity that we see is just equipping such vending devices such as a robo-cafe with an operator as a humanoid-like robot, which will just allow us to compete and to raise this level of service through communication, companionship, which will be so lacking. This is one of the key directions for the Robo-C platform. The next direction in which we are ready for the moment and starting to enter is a museum. And these are robotic exhibits made as some famous personalities. And this is also based on Robo-C. Now we got such an opportunity to recreate a person through 3D modeling, cast silicone skin through it, put it in our humanoid-like hardware and in fact to simulate this person. This is a great opportunity to compete and enter the museum market and to create a kind of establishment by analogy with the Madame Tussauds Museum, a sort of Madame Tussauds 2.0. Now we are negotiating with our local administration and local businesses and the local, Perm region, our city, to create such a museum for the tercentenary of Perm. The museum will include significant people involved into formation of our city. The same opportunity may be used in other regions around the world. In conclusion, I would like to share my plans for 2025. We have such a challenge, quite serious. This is the receipt of the revenue for our company in 2025 in the amount of $100 million. The task is not easy. To accomplish this objective, we need to grow about twice every annum per 4 years. Seriously, a very big ambitious task. When we dissected, we understood that we could ensure such a growth for such a long time together with you. So we are now calling you and planning to restart to launch our partner program in a very way in order to establish our future rosy, good together, as ill as to have a possibility to earn together. That's for me. I'm giving the floor to the next speaker.
Thank you, Maxim. We are glad that Promobot has big plans. Now we'll speak about the partnership model. I'll hold the speech. Welcome Oleg Kivakurtsev, founder and business development director of Promobot.
Good afternoon, dear dealers, partners, agents, and just friends of Promobot. We are glad to welcome you at the first partner summit of the company, which is named PIRT, Promobot International Roundtable. Today we will talk with you about our development as a single team, as a whole, to achieve our results and to promote robotics in the world. I'm familiar with many of you. We have seen many times personally, and whom we have not met individually. We have spent many hours in the course of conversations, communication, solving some issues, problems, and tasks. Let's remember with you what a long, big, and good way we have come. We have been building the Promobot partner network together with you since 2015. And from that moment on, we were able to achieve very good results together. In total, we have delivered above 700 robots worldwide. Together, we were able to reach such clients as the National Bank of Oman, Astana Expo, BIC, Biblioglobus in Russia, Elfmed Company in Spain, Washington Airport in the USA, MIT University in the USA, Dubai Mall in the United Arab Emirates, Police in Abu Dhabi, Vodafone Company in Turkey and Africa, and many other major brands known all over the world. And I think we can be proud of it. In the course of our activities for you, we had three main models of cooperation. The first is our dealership model, when it was necessary to purchase at least 5 robots per country, per region, and also to organize a service center to provide service and maintenance. This model was very popular, and we have a lot of dealers. The second model is our partnership. We provide partner status to companies which purchased even one robot at least. And the third model is agency type, when companies did not buy products at all, but nevertheless engaged into sales and fulfilled some conditions. In the course of our work, we have developed 3 business patterns. The first is robots resale deliveries to end customers within different territories. This model was also very successful, and the largest contracts of Promobot were just brought by dealers. Astana Expo purchased 18 robots in Kazakhstan at once, and this is really a record that not only regarding direct sales, nor other channels provided. The second example I recall is the Lenta network, the largest Russian retailer, which purchased 7 robots at once, and this was also implemented through a partner channel. Well, then there are many examples when a customer was supplied with 5, 6, 3, 4 robots. All these were also direct sales. The second model is a rental. This is one of the most popular business patterns of our partners and dealers, and it is a very popular direction. The most important thing is that it is unique in itself and brought a lot of income to the robots owners who were engaged into renting them out. The cost of renting robots in Russia is now around $1,000 per day, and in other countries starts from $2,000 and above. This pattern is very useful regarding robotics development for the growth of our common cause, because customers see it. They want to see results and eventually become Promobot users and consumers. Well, the third business model is the service type. Many of us have signed service and maintenance contracts with the end users, and this was one of the significant budget-filling items for many of our dealers and partners, since many robots require assistance in operation. This is normal. Not all customers want to dive into it, and we have provided such a service and continue doing that. This is a serious direction. Thus, together with you, we were able to make more than $10 million in revenue within all this time. We were able to put robots into the most outstanding and successful places in the world, at ski resorts in France, at embassies around the world, visiting the largest exhibition in the United Arab Emirates, the USA, Spain, Africa, and even in Australia. But due to the fact that the company grew and developed, many partners became one of the first customers and associates of our team. In the course of growth, as with any business, we had to make many decisions in motion and to adjust flexibly our evolution model. There were pros and cons, but we tried to solve them together with you, and we are still trying to solve them.
Но мы старались их совместно с вами и до сих пор стараемся решать.
As main and controversial points, all dealers and partners, without exception, have highlighted and still point out things as following. The first is a territorial issue. There are many dealers and partners willing to have exclusive access to the territory. This is a normal intention. No one wants to work to promote the products, so that in the future someone will take advantage of it. And this is an absolutely normal desire, a natural one. But not everyone had this kind of model, but those who had it ultimately refused it. Since we, as a manufacturer, need to have the volume to maintain production, to provide service, to make new developments, to conduct new research. We had to refuse to cooperate in the field of exclusivity, and 2, 3, 4 partners appeared in many territories, and due to the fact that the Promobot partners and dealers are decent, responsible, honest people, we generally had no conflicts within the dealer network. But perhaps if one of the companies had a clear long-term exclusive, it would be able to realize its full potential, because I am sure that many were demotivated, losing exclusiveness to a certain territory. When you realize that someone can come, then you naturally will not invest 100% of your efforts, and there are problems of the territorial issue in this. Anyway, none of us had any conflicts in this direction, and we could solve these problems on our own. The second problem, and not exactly a poser, the second important issue in all our activities with you was servicing, of course. When we delivered robots to customers, when we presented products at exhibitions, when we rented out, surely there were cases of equipment failure. This is normal. In general, there is no technique having no problems at all. And even when the light bulb was invented, Thomas Edison made 1,000 attempts to under the 1,001st one he succeeded. What we see now is in every premise. So in our business, each robot was better than the previous one. We fixed all the problems, but nevertheless we encountered them. Service and maintenance is a thing requiring just one. It needs regulations, and if these rules is followed, then all activities will be successful, all deliveries will be implemented clearly, and no one will have problems. Why we didn't introduce it? Because we didn't know what the regulations should be. We didn't know how the equipment would behave, and we only had a theoretical model different from practice many times. This is the second difficulty we have been solving and still continue to solve. And the third story is, of course, the disunity in the field of marketing and activities in the direction of sales, towards a lease finding. As a rule, companies' parent manufacturers assist local dealers in finding leads and solutions. Dealers make regular reports on their work done, and in this way they manage to build business models, make some investments, return on funds.
В таком ключе у них получается выстраивать бизнес-модели и какие-то производить инвестиции, какие-то производить возвраты инвестиций.
In general, it turns out to be a long-term business. We conducted similar activities with you, but we did not reach the level of large international companies and massive international retail chains, simply because we were at the wrong time when it was impossible to do this, because the product was still configured and created. But I think that we will eventually be able to come to this, and there are now all the prerequisites for this.
в конечном счете к этому прийти, и есть сейчас все для этого предпосылки. Вот. Ну и
And the
четвертая
fourth
модель,
model, or rather some
точнее,
complexity
сложность,
could be
которую
noticed in our
можно было бы
activities with you,
отметить
is the
в
lack
нашей
of
основной
regular
деятельности.
contacts. The company grew, the Promobot employees were changed, departments varied, as well as the structure, and our partner network was not concluded in line. Therefore, sometimes there was a disconnection of communication. When the Promobot released a new product, sometimes many dealers found out about it from the media, but not directly from the manufacturer. For example, when an update released, it gets up automatically on devices, sometimes at the most inopportune moment when, for example, a robot is at an event. Here, in fact, is the weak point or bottleneck, which you and I should eliminate and to establish communication. So in general, I want to say the following, dear friends, that you and I have done a great job. I am proud of what we have built. Now it's time to take our next step, move on to the next stage of the company's development. Let's do it together with you and listen to what awaits us at the next milestone. And now I'm pleased to introduce to you my colleagues. Evgenia Yezhova, the head of the Promobot partner network since the end of 2021, and Roman Ivanov, the first Deputy Director General for Strategic Development. It is in such a team we will set a new evolution phase of our cooperation. Let me introduce them to you. For this, I'll need to come into the room. Please join me.
Hello everyone again. As I've said, we'll continue Promobot International Round Table. As I've said, welcome to Jane Yezhova. Jane, please go ahead. Thank you, Oleg. Hello everyone. My name is Yezhova Evgenia. I'm the head of the Promobot International Partner Network. When we talk about the future development, we need to take into account all the system defects that we'll build earlier in order to become better in the future. There are two such specific moments in cooperating with partners. The first is algorithm for working with partners. When we were just starting to expand abroad, we seized any opportunity, any project. We hammered away at all active and interested people and companies. In fact, everyone was called partners as having purchased at least one robot. And all of this has led us to the existing sales volume and our availability within 42 countries around the world. However, our distribution system, like many startups, has become more specific. On one hand, we have those who call themselves our partners, and at the same time will sell to the end customers ourselves. You can see this schematically. The consequences that we have: partners often do not develop business, so the client has the opportunity to contact us directly and even to get a discount bypassing its dealer. We'll correct and mend this system. The second is a product that was designed for wow effect. It was such a product in the past which allowed us to enter the market quickly and always attracted customers' attention. The same effect engaged potential customers who wanted to build a business. However, time is passing, and today's client is the one who's interested more and more in a robot functionality. It is the aspect which is coming to the fore now. To do this, we plan to communicate with the partners much in order to receive feedback, what the market wants and what the customers desire from our robot. We hope this approach will also have effect. Now let's look at the business of our partners. we have a network of 70 partners around the world. I would like to share interesting facts. First, the majority, about 90% of our partners, buy our robots to diversify their main business. Second, only 20% of our partners, usually foreign ones, build their business on the basis of a multiple robot manufacturer's brand, organizing the so-called showrooms. And the third, I'm glad that almost all existing partners understand that technical support is still necessary. All of these problems, and the problems listed by Oleg, were pointed out after. We interviewed some of the partners who responded to our letters and messages. We have visited several exhibitions together with our partners, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Germany. As a result, we have identified the most successful business development models with our robots. In 2022, we want to focus on two areas: assistance in business development of partners. Second, local request delegating to local dealers and distributors. One of these best practices will be told to us today by one of our partners from the United Arab Emirates, Rami Kabani. Thanks, Jane. And now, let me introduce our partner, friend, and simply a good colleague, General Manager of Action to Action Middle East, Rami Kabani. Hello, Rami. Glad to see you today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rami Kabani. I am the General Manager for Action to Action Middle East. We'll start with some brief about Action to Action and some of the study case we done and what we learned during the time working in robotics business in general. So Action to Action is a company focusing in robotics and new technology. During the year, Action to Action implement business strategy to specific segment within a multiple market, will create tangible sales, market share, and brand presence for a new innovation and technology in B2B and B2C segment. Action to Action have the technology, connection, skills, experience, and the ability to approach any market segments where we create many robotics solutions for different business areas such as mall, hotel, hospital, government, and actually the list keeps going on and on. We do have cover, we have regional reach, we have office in New Zealand, we have office in UAE, and we have office in Singapore. The business coverage, what we coverage right now, we cover robotics and automation consultancy, service center, value-added SLA, and sales, customer support on-site and online. The customer segment is private sectors. I will just give you a little bit success story in robotics business in Middle East. We established the company as a technology and diverse investment. In 2013, UAE office start as a technology provider and startup go-to-market gate, where we offer startup companies easy reach customer via ATA sales channel, B2C, and our distribution partner in MENA region. We have as well created robotics showroom in Mall, where we have multiple brand and innovation, and we give a real interactive experience for customer during that time. The UAE robotics showroom was a mission to increase awareness about future technology and robotics use in different segments, where we're trying to show the public and the customer how to robot, where they could use it, what they can do with the robot. In 2018, we expand our B2B business by opening office in showroom format in B2B customer to provide an extra support for advanced technology and robotic project planning, customization, and implementation. We're trying in this office to create it as a showroom format where we let the customer as a B2B customer come here, try and touch all different kinds of robotics with engineer support, where they have the freedom environment. It's similar to retail outlets actually, where they have more privacy, where we can touch, speak with the robot, change some things, and do the real demo for the customers. That's some of the photos what we have right now in our experience center. We have learned and what worked well. We do understand the showroom, it must be. Customers prefer to see and touch robot, and that helps get demand in robotics as well, where when many people see robotics around, we really notice big difference when we get leads from customer or customer about robotics. When they start robotics on them, when they are working mall and they see some robotics, they start to question, do I can use it in my business? Is the robot really helpful for us? Do we can do something with the robot? Where we start to really create the demand, especially for B2B customers. For B2C, customer, they can just go online, Google, and find what they want. When it's come B2B, we believe the big challenge right now, when the customer see many things online, some of them fake, some of them real, and they cannot really reach the right person or the right company or the right partner. And the other issue is that there is no physical demo or products. That's why we get and believe the idea of showroom, it has to be as well. The second, wow effect is not a permanent. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the wow effect, it was there. When there's so many companies, they either buy, rent, hire, borrow, whatever, robotics, where they just keep it using, to give this wow effect, saying like, we are an X company, we're having like 2-3 robots or whatever. They just use it for wow effect and show off, if we can call it. What we believe right now, the marketing change, people did start to understand really robotics, it has to do some function, it has to do some use for them. So that we believe right now, the robot must be function for the customer and do some real task, and to be able to be integrated with the customer system. We have so many customers right now, like government, private sectors, hotels, malls. They want to integrate them on back system with the robot. So they are looking for the real task. The third things we learn as well, to approach and sell robot from different brands, that's some things it's really helpful for us. Now, to focus only in one brand or work it only with one brand, especially in robotics business or especially in Middle East region right now, it doesn't work with us, because we have different type of customer with different need and different budgets. The customers come and say, guys, I need the robot to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or give me solution for this and solution for that, and I have limited budget, or I have X budget, or I have. So for that, we cover majority of the brand of robotics right now, where we show all the customer different kind of things, and to meet the customer needs with his budget. We do as well, one of the things what we learn, it's rent robot, which we do these models for 2 cases, or for 2 reasons actually. What we find out on rental robot, to rent robot with technical support and specialists of robotics support team on site during the event or during the time of the person or the customer rent the robot, it gives the confidence for the customers, first of all, that the robot is going to function 100%. He will not have any issue with the robot. We found out that the best way, we try to send the robot alone to the customer, we prepare it, send it to him. During the time the customer keep calling, X things not working, we don't know how to switch it off, we don't know how to switch it on. So we decide to get someone always with the robot as a support. Now, through the rental, actually, why we do the rental? Through the rental, we get so many B2B customers, or actually serious customer, if we can call it, from government, from big private sector, with people they having budget. So through the rental, we're using the robot customer during event or whatever. So many people passing by and saying, we like this robot, from where we could buy it, from where we can do it. And we start to give an idea for customer as well, how to use the robot. So an example on rental, we're doing an example. We tell the customer tips, do not use the robot only for show off. We don't want the robot only to go an example dance or answer some basic question. We actually take it to the next stage where we really let the customer feel the value of the robot. So an example like for one of the hospitals, which they gonna open soon. They're gonna use the robot to do the presentation. So the robot, the opening ceremony basically, and there is some presentation. So the robot's gonna go on stage and start to do the presentation, explain about the hospital, the history stuff. Same time, the presentation, he's gonna do some Q&A. So we change the use of the robot from only wow effect or fun part, to be for real use, for something completely different. We are focusing on this area because we need to show the customer that there is some technology, hardware, software, and some good company which can really help them to use the robot for real tasks and special tasks. That's what we learn, and that's what we are working on in general. Thank you for your time. If you have any question, please feel free to ask.
Rami, thanks a lot. It was really interesting speech. We're happy to be a partner. Your success is one of the best examples for us. And now let me introduce, we have the email, and you can send us your questions, and the most interesting questions will be read aloud at the end of the stream. And now please welcome First Deputy Director General for Promobot Strategic Development, Roman Ivanov. Thank you, Oleg. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Roman Ivanov, and I am a new face in the Promobot team. My main task is to develop the Promobot global distribution. Within the last 20 years, I worked in different businesses and lived in different countries in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, and I am familiar with different business cultures. Having joined the Promobot team, I succeeded to communicate with all the company active partners who responded to our invitation to an interview, and in addition, I constantly monitor our current sales and have already visited several partners within Russia and the Middle East. What do we see here? What can we tell about this? We have two options for the use of the robot. The first one, in the left part, it is blue, and for one's needs, and the second one is for resale or rental. The first option has a subgroup as government agencies, and this is the most often regarded as robot purchasing by schools and universities for educational purposes. I'll repeat myself. This is both in Russia and abroad. The second subgroup is business structures. They buy them for their own needs, such as clinics, restaurants, airports. There are really special options here. Alexei Yuzhikov told about, but I'll explain it more on that later. In addition, the second use case is for resale or rental. It is marked with red. And as Zhenya has already said, in 8 to 9 out of 10 cases, we see that this is not the main business of those called partners. A very common story is that a person decides to try the robotic business, purchasing 1, 2, 3 robots for resale. It doesn't work any further, and then these robots will be rented out. Here is such a picture. Let's move on. Based on the picture, we came to the conclusion that we need to clarify, to help and to sell the business model to our partners. That is how you can make money on robots. And here practice tells us that there are 4 options, and you can see them right there. Option number 1. As it was already mentioned, the focus is on the cooperating with government agencies, participating in competitions and tenders as well. The main product is a robot for tutoring activities and can be both an instructor and a device demonstrator. It is very good to sell manuals and the robotic course content within one kit. What exactly the instructor should say? There's also a large field for our robots' information terminals with large screens for installation into public state offices. Examples are the robot in Dubai Police or in Moscow and in Perm, multifunctional centers. Option number 2. As Alexei already mentioned, this is a search variant for a creative businessman having its own vision of both creating and using a robot, and he is willing to invest into the project. In this case, Promobot acts only as a robot manufacturer. Everything else, starting from the idea to distribution, is on the side of such a businessman. Examples? Well, we are developing a project of vending machines for parks and ice cream sales, as well as for the Museum of Madame Tussauds 2.0. Option number 3, this, as you can see from the slide, this is a single-time resale of robots to large budget owners. This is the format of an intermediary of referral. That's an entity from which just a contact needed, and the rest of activities will be done by the Promobot team or the current dealer, distributor of the Promobot. In this case, our referral program will be used and we'll pay our fees for the recommendation. Option number 4. This is robotics, which is becoming a core business of our partner. This option has just been presented by Rami, and its main element is creation of the robotic show as an element of starting to attract potential customers' attention. This show inevitably transforms into the work of a showroom by a car dealership analogy, when a customer can come, watch, or to serve its robot. What are the prices and revenues for the most optimal business options with robots? Since 2022, the Promobot policy will be as follows. As I've already mentioned, the most important thing is that we'll delegate the work and the leads we'll receive to the partners in the field. The key thing for us is partners' business development. Under option 1 is cooperating with government agencies. If we receive a request for our project, we'll forward it to the partner. In addition, we have our own group of 3 persons engaged only into the sector of Russian state orders. Partners are abroad only. Option number 2, contacting us as a manufacturer. If all the ideas, investments and distribution are on the partner side, we'll offer very interesting prices, and each case here will be considered and evaluated individually. I'll repeat, this is the direction of special and non-standard projects. Option number 3. If customers contact us for a single time or trial resale, we'll either forward such a request to a partner with our recommendations on providing discounts, or if there's no partner within territory, we include such a client into our referral program where it will be easy enough to get a percentage from the deal. Option number 4. We offer existing and not used robots to their owners. A special project is combining into showrooms. If you are such an owner, write to us an email and we'll discuss details, conditions and forecasts. If you are not a robot owner yet, but you're just thinking about a development plan, also give it a shot, and we'll support you develop and cooperating with existing partners to avoid overlaps with rivalry. In addition to what I've said, I would like to once again show this slide. There's a boss, there may be partners owning robots, it has a technical support service, and such a showroom can be either mono or multi-brand. Which is the most common scenario of this business option. Now, such multi-brand showrooms use our Promobot robots primarily as an attraction to the assortment. We see that our hardware is rented very well, but it is not very profitable to sell it in the owners. Selling our robots to customers can reduce rental income, as we can see. In such circumstances, we'll promote a model similar to subscriptions when using a robot, which will allow a showroom to continue income receiving from a robot sold. Summing up the speech, I would like to highlight the main points. First, we know our partners' business as what works and what doesn't work. Number two, we prioritize assistance in the development of business partners. Number three, we listen to our partners in order to respond to the market demands. Let me add a few words. To solve the latter task, the Marketing Council of Promobot Partners will start its activities from 2022. We will invite for the participation 6 to 8 partners having already their own showrooms and actively cooperating with Promobot. You'll be able to receive the newsletter about the council decisions on a regular basis if you continue your cooperation with Promobot. Thank you so much. Roman, thank you for your speech. It is very important. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of new things that will be positive. Now let's get to the questions and answers. We have more than 10 questions, a couple of dozens of questions from So we were sent these questions, and let me read the first one. Hello, dear representatives of Promobot. We purchased robot from you in 2018. Is there any chance we could get a discount if we decide to buy them again in 2022? Evgenia, could you please give the answer to this question? Yes, everything is possible, but we have to discuss it first. It is important for us if the territory you're speaking about is occupied by our partner. If yes, then it is better to contact him. If not, we'll help you. Thank you, Evgenia. It was quite a logical answer. So now let's take a look at the question number 2 from our viewers. Sounds like this. You say that the Promobot robots are designed for the wow effect, but it flies out quickly. Are you planning to do something for the mass segment? Roman, could you please answer it? Yes, let me answer it. We know what our strengths are. We are a strong expertise in human-like robots, thus we develop them. Of course, the sales in the mass segment are also available for us. If the marketing council, of course it should be developed, But if the marketing council, which I mentioned above, will recommend it, and if it is a yes, then we'll definitely discuss it. This is how it goes. Thank you. I totally agree that we have to discuss it with our partners. There's no way we could avoid it. Let's read the next one. This is the one from Kazakhstan. Could you please tell us what are the conditions for an exclusive dealer status on the territory of Kazakhstan? Evgenia, could you please answer? Yes, thank you. First, you need to sell our devices and obtain the profit. And it is better to organize this process through our partners who are already working there. If you succeed, we'll help you with the cooperation process. Thus, you and your partner will benefit. Thank you for your answer. I hope, dear colleagues, you'll be the ones who will be able to take a look at the exclusivity. Now, next question. It's a long one. Now, the client can ask the dealer for the price. Then he contacts you and you sell him the robot. Why should a dealer develop his business? It's good that you understand this, but what will you do if you share your customer database with the dealer and he'll not sell your robots, but the robots of your competitors? It's a good question. Well, let me quote the marketing council again. Your issues are very delicate. And if we have the so-called marketing council and they have their opinion, then we'll listen to this opinion, although we have our own concept on how to do it. But somewhere in between, we'll find a compromise and the best solution for it. Dear partners, we have a lot to do in the field of marketing council. Next question. Could you please tell us how much do prices differ for Russia and for other countries? Evgenia, could you please answer it? Yes, thank you. The answer is, from 2022, our partners will use the configurator. Thus, they can quickly find the price themselves without contacting us. We will not have retail discounts. That is, we'll send everyone to dealers for discounts. Prices from the factory will be pretty the same for everyone. And the transportation costs, of course, will be the higher the further the robot is transported. Evgenia, thank you for your answer. Yes, of course, the further the higher the cost will be. Next question. Dear Promobot, thank you for hosting this event. When is the next one? Can I send you recommendations on topics for discussion? It will be my turn to answer. Yes, of course, we are looking forward to your expectations and recommendations. We'll hold the next meeting somewhere around the end of January. Let's have one. So we are waiting for all of the partners and follow all kinds of questions. So the questions are being repeated here. So let's probably draw the line and finish. So I want to name the four of our next steps. First, sales and partnership policy for 2022. Second, checking your existing business status in Zoom. Third, the election of International Advisory Board in marketing. Fourth, best practice seminar on demand basis. And these are the 4 steps of the nearest future. Well, thanks everyone for participating in the roundtable here today. If we didn't answer your questions, please contact Jane and we'll assist you and support you. Send us to our email. We need to do a lot together with you, dear partners. Thank you, and for all social media, have a great week. Goodbye.